Hello and welcome once again to this video. My name is Aldrich Tinkatoyat from Advert Writer. I am a content strategist and digital marketing consultant, or com strategist if you will. So in my previous video I did speak about setting up your digital marketing unit for your small and medium enterprise. In this particular video is a slight extension from that. So there are three areas. Oops, that's a bit too close. So there are a few areas to cover. One is the SME. Second, the extension of that is your digital marketing. And then it would lead to the next area where we will briefly speak on SEO. Alright. So in a nutshell, this is pretty much what I will cover in this video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section down below, or you can send me a message. You can drop me a message on or send me an email on aldrich@advertwriter.com, or even send me a Telegram message on @aldrichtoya.com. I'll leave that somewhere down later. Coming back to this. Right, so SMEs. SMEs, again, by definition, are small and medium enterprises which are often having to operate on a lean manner. You don't have as much resources as the large MNCs and the publicly listed companies, although that's a fallacy because some SMEs are publicly listed. But often you don't have enough manpower dedicated to do digital marketing and SEO, and you don't have as much resources to spend compared to the bigger companies. So therefore, you need your digital marketing to be as precise as possible. Again, digital marketing is just your marketing on digital means. So when I say that, if I may zoom out for a while, we're not just looking at, so we're looking at marketing. Okay, we have the general area of marketing, right? Then we also have your out-of-home marketing, your billboards, your banners, your buntings on the roadside, your electronic digital billboard. You also have events to a degree. Events, and it also intersects. That's where events can sometimes intersect with PR. That's why this is the reason why I believe that in my previous video, I believe in an integrated communications approach to this. Anyway, your events can be a marketing event, can be a PR event or a PR activation. Finally, you have digital. So as an SME, it is important for you to see and to appreciate how all of this fits as a business function within your organization. And one of the many things that people always go when people speak about digital is you have two different areas. You have your digital assets and your social media assets. Now you notice that I try not to be platform centric. That's because of a simple reason. Platforms are never permanent. You've heard of, if you from my generation, once upon a time, you never heard of Facebook, but you know what Friendster was. Then after Friendster, for a moment, MySpace was famous. Eventually, it became Facebook. One point of time, Blogger was famous. Then Twitter came in the picture. It didn't really pick up. After that, you have WordPress and all these different platforms, right? So social media are platforms. Don't be too focused or too don't be hinge or hook on one particular platform, because it depends on your target segment, depends on the market. At one point of time, people get bored or people get worried, they will move away. It's not the in thing, it's irrelevant. In fact, we're seeing that recently. I am recording this on January 20th, 2021. In the last week, thanks to some change in the privacy policy, many people are exiting WhatsApp, a sub product, a sub platform of the Facebook group. They're leaving it for Signal and for Telegram. Okay, so what's my point in telling you all this? Once upon a time, WhatsApp was the go place. Then it was Snapchat, and then it was something else. Eventually, it will change. Don't be too obsessed, right? Digital assets are effectively stuff that you own. Assets that you own. It could be your own app, your mobile app. It could be your own software. It could be your platform. It could be, especially commonly, your website. It's not exactly a social media asset. Whereas social media, you're riding on the platforms offered by someone else. It could be Facebook. It could be Twitter. It could be YouTube, YT. Or it could be Blogspot. It could be WordPress. Blogger. Could be WordPress. And so on and so forth. Now you have different applications such as Discord, a Discord server. You see, so that's why, again, I repeat, don't be too obsessed with the platform per se. In a moment, I will explain why. So, one moment. Well, I lost my train of thought. So coming back to my point being that digital assets are stuff that you own, your organization own, your website, in the platforms that you control effectively. Social media assets are platforms which you borrow on others, and it ties back again to your business model. I'll go into that in a bit. But often when we're talking about digital assets, we cannot not. People will always bring up this idea of SEO. And what does it stand for? Let me bring that into focus right now. SEO is the abbreviation for search engine optimization. So that is search engine optimization. So step back. Let's get a bigger picture now. Another grandfather story, if you will. With the different assets, social media, digital, search engines help consumers, help you and I, users, people, navigate the World Wide Web, the world of the internet. With so much, we are in a stage, we're in an era where there's so much, it's a proliferation of information. Search engines, the likes of Google.com, the Google.com ecosystem, the Yahoo.com, the Bing.com, even Facebook.com. These are search engines, allow you to search certain stuff to answer certain queries, i.e. your queries. Okay, let's take the Google website. You have this little box, right? When you key in your term, your search term, your query, basically, search engine goes out, crawls the internet, or God knows how many billion, trillion websites out there, websites, sub-websites, post pages, and brings out results or search results. The idea of search engine optimization is to have your page, your content, appear among the top search engine results page, preferably within the first or second page. So a search engine result page is usually abbreviated as SERP. So when you have your websites, your social media compliant with SEO, it will most likely appear in pages 1 or 2. Okay, But what is search engine optimization? To answer that question in the most basic sense, the most simplistic sense, it is matrices and principles that websites need to adhere to, which helps users, people using the internet, find relevant content. Among the stuff that is being measured when talking about relevant is, of course, things like number 1, readability. Now, number 2, navigation or navigability. Okay. Number 3, we're looking at page drop, meaning how many people left your page within the first few seconds. Number 4, how long people stay, the duration. Okay. Now these are among the matrices that makes up this world of SEO. And it's not limited to these, by the way. It's not limited to these 4 points. There's other areas, there's considerations like mobile, tablet, PC, user device, regional, meaning which country, demographic, your demographic data, your psychographic data, your so there are 3 things: your demographic, your psychographic, and your geographic. I would also include language here, right? Your location, if you're in Malaysia, in Australia, in the United States. Which part of the United States? Which part of Australia? Which part of Malaysia? Oh, you're saying Kuala Lumpur. Which part of Kuala Lumpur? Because Kuala Lumpur can mean the city, or it can mean the federal territory. Okay, so these are different considerations that becomes the building blocks of what SEO is. When people say SEO compliant, you want to be among the best. You want to be as SEO compliant as possible. But remember, there's one term here: relevant to the users. And Google or any search engine, they want to make sure whatever that appears on their search result pages are relevant to the users. And that is, in essence, what SEO is all about. The ultimate aim of SEO in the business setting. You apply SEO onto your digital assets, onto your social media assets, so that search engines will assume and will treat your page or your content as relevant to whoever that's asking based on their user behavior. Now let's be fair, there's a lot of more facets to that statement. Okay, relevance is something that is very subjective, but measured by search engines. So your previous 7-day history on Google Chrome, your your activities on Microsoft Edge, all these are being tracked. People you like on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, right? The algorithms through cookies take note of your behavior, and then it will deduce, based on the algorithm, what's relevant to you. That is why often search engine results, SERPs, for you on your computer, on your tablet, would be different from what's on mine. Remember, psychography, demography, geography. The search engine knows where I'm based. I'm based here in Petaling Jaya in Kuala Lumpur. It's just a 20-minute MRT ride, but it will not funnel me information from, say, Johannesburg or Buenos Aires. It won't give me information or content that's in simplified Chinese, unless, of course, the search term. When I say search term, it's whatever that you put in here in Google. Okay, remember Google or whatever search engine, and you see, Let me move that. Okay, your search term, whatever search term that goes here. And while we're on the topic of search term, you've always heard that, oh, you need to have good keywords. You need to have good SEO keywords. Okay, again, coming back. What do they mean by keywords? Keywords are basically the queries, the search terms that you use here. When I say search term, it can be one word. For example, business. Alright, this is one word. If I enter business here, Google will crawl the internet for every and any content that has the term business relevant to my behavior in the past, I don't know how many days, weeks, or months, and give that to me. It will feed me that. Now, of course, the search results, if you go down to the lower page, again, keep on moving stuff around. At the low, if you notice, if you're on Google, you will see how long Google is spelled, right? The more pages there are, the longer the longer the strings of O's are. So if it's a generic term like business, it will be page 1 till God knows how many. It could be 500 or something, I can't remember, right? So if you put small business, okay, right, so before I go to small business, let's say it's just business. It's not it's purely speculating. What do I mean by business? Is it setting up a business? Is it a Master of Business Administration program? Is it a Bachelor of Business program offered by a university? Is it business grants? Is it, mind your own business? What do you mean by that? So the narrower the term, the better it is, right? That's your keyword coming back. So small business. So obviously anything that does not have this two phrases, small business, it will not feed. Now again, I'm simplifying things here. Remember, you have your location on, so it will always give you small business related to your location. It could be small business in Malaysia, it could be small business Wikipedia, it could be small business if you're in Perth, small businesses in Perth, small business directory in Perth, and so on and so forth. But if I add in a new accounting, right? Accounting, small business accounting. Now it's slightly narrower. It could be small business accounting programs, it could be software, it can be courses. Then you can narrow down. Maybe you add another term, small business accounting software, cheap, and although it's redundant, okay, I'm in Petaling Jaya, obviously I don't need to say Malaysia, right? But if I'm based here in Petaling Jaya in Kuala Lumpur, I want to know small business accounting software, cheap small business accounting software used by people in Perth. Therefore, this string goes into Google search engine, and it will give me the results that I am looking for, usually, right, based on my behavior in the last 6 months or so. That is, in a nutshell, the effect of keywords. But remember, earlier I was mentioning something about your SME, your business model, right? Well, how does that come into the picture? What's the relevance here? Whenever we're talking about small businesses and business models, let me bring this one up. Please excuse the violin, the sound of the violin behind. It is a lockdown in Kuala Lumpur right now, and we're sharing space with my housemates. Okay, when I say business model, I am always thinking of the business model canvas. I am not interested, for the purpose of this discussion, partners, key activities, key resources, right? I don't care about that. I don't care about your cost structure, and I don't care about your revenue stream. Okay, we ignore all these. Instead, we will be focusing our discussion on channels and customer segment. These would be the core focus, and a dab of value proposition tied to channel, tied to customer segment. Why is this relevant? Okay, you know how people say, my customers, everyone can be my customer, anyone can be my customer. I'm sorry, from this I can tell you, you can't target everyone. Well, if you have the budget, sure, but you wouldn't qualify as an SMB in my eyes, in my books. You're not exactly SMB material per se, right? So we're talking about SMEs. You want to target your marketing. You want to create efficient marketing. Okay, so you need to know your customer segment. Who are your customers? Who are you really serving? Who's buying for you? Who's benefiting from you? Why are they buying from you? So let me use a red pen. Who? In the previous in my previous video, I was talking about AirAsia.com. AirAsia.com is an award-winning regional budget carrier, budget airline carrier. So the question that I have, why do I bring that, is why do I bring that up? Simple. You're looking at people who wants to travel. If AirAsia was to deploy content on their website, they will focus on travelers. What do travelers want to know? Well, peace of mind travel, destinations in, let's say, one of their travel destination. They fly to Xi'an, they fly to Langkawi. What's available in Langkawi? Then within their ecosystem, AirAsia.com, they also provide customers the ability to purchase hotels. So of course, you may want to consider content that is close or nearby to certain hotels or within that destination. Why should you go? And AirAsia itself, of course, as I said earlier on, is a budget carrier, or in other words, cheap tickets, right? Now, when I'm talking about this, when I'm giving you this illustration, I want you to also bear in mind keywords used by your potential customers to land in or to land on your digital assets, your social media assets, right? That is what I want you to bear in mind. So SEO isn't that isolated information which you can get consultants to come in and just pluck from the sky, or in some cases run through an algorithm. Consultants, good digital marketing consultants, content strategy consultants, will ask you, what's your business model? Who are your target segments? Why have they been buying from you? What makes you stand apart? What are you offering what makes you stand out in terms of your relationship? Are you doing it purely? I give you one example, right? Co-sharing space, okay, or co-living space, right? The relationship when it comes to co-living and co-sharing space is slightly different compared to if you are a direct landlord. So what's the difference? Co-sharing space, you are subscribing to a service where you can either, let's say this is an office floor, you can rent a single room, another company rents another room, or you can rent a hot desk for one time, or for monthly basis. On a monthly basis, you can rent this. You'll be sharing with the guy. Your neighbor here would probably be from a different organization or a client to someone else, and you have a meeting room. You're sharing the space, right? You're legally allowed to use the address of the co-sharing space as a business address, but it's not yours exclusively. Likewise, co-living space. To a degree, you can also say that this is akin to a hostel. right? A hostel. So what are people looking for in the co-living space now? Remember I mentioned earlier on your demographic, psychographic, geography, right? If you're talking about digital nomads, what do they expect? No frills, easy, close to convenient, close to public transportation. If we're talking about SMEs or startups, they would have different requirements and considerations. Freelancers, again, different consideration. It will affect how they enter keywords in Google. Yes, they will always type the common co-working space near me. Everyone, they would definitely do that. But, to remember the funnel earlier on, the sales funnel, leads, blah, blah, not everyone at the beginning or the top of the funnel will end up buying from you. Aida, the co-sharing space, co-working space near me, that is your top of the funnel query. But what makes you special? Tell me. What makes your co-working space special? What makes your law firm special? What makes your clinic special? What makes your business special? Okay, if you're a unit trust consultant or you're selling insurance, what makes you different from another insurance agent from your same company? Right? That's where your interest and desire comes in. So again, I cannot stress this enough. That's why in my videos over and over again, and in my blogs or in my statuses, I always emphasize this term, model. Because your business model, I wouldn't say it's the Bible, but that is the 10 commandments. Your 10 commandments. Your great commandment. Your pillar, or what have you, that makes up your company, your business. You can't reduce your business model into this one canvas. To me, we will be struggling. You will be struggling. Your agency that you hire, your freelancer that you're hiring will struggle because they don't know what you really want. You don't know what you want. Again, as I said, digital nomads have different psychography and requirements. SMEs would have different requirements. Freelancers have different requirements. Oh, let's not forget, throw in the if you're in Malaysia, we have something called the Multimedia's MSC, Multimedia Super Corridor certified companies and businesses. They have different requirements. If they're a Bumi Putra company, they have different requirements. Again, even if they want to rent, there are different requirements that they have to adhere to. So you can't lump everyone the same way. So, does this mean that your business model canvas is only one and you stick to that forever and ever? No. Business model canvas, when I say what's your business model vis-a-vis this particular market target segment or this particular revolving around a particular offer or service or solution, I am asking you to use one. You can have multiple business model canvases. You don't have to have only one, and that is the is all and end all. Again, that's ridiculous. It's not sustainable unless that's your business model, right? But it goes back to that. If you can't answer if you are struggling with with answering the question, who's your customer segment, how you're going to communicate to them, your channels. Let me change this to a different color. Right? What channels are you using to speak to them? The relationship you want to foster with them. Are you offering a private consult? Are you offering a virtual consult? Are you removing consult interaction? It's purely digital. And what do you have to offer to them? Your value proposition. They're getting what from you? Why they want it from you? Budget, cheap, premium, full service. It's customized. So those are things that you have to answer. Anyway, my 30 minutes mark is fast approaching. I better conclude this, and you can hear the azan right behind me. My name is Eldrick Tinkatoyat. You can reach out to me, as I mentioned earlier on my email address here, through my email address or my Telegram channel. My email address is eldrick@advertwriter.com. My Telegram ID is @eldricktoyat.com. I am still new to this particular Microsoft whiteboard, so please bear with me. Here you go. This particular video, let me just recap. I covered a few topics interrelated. One is SMEs vis-a-vis your digital marketing, and I mentioned briefly on SEO, how SEO is really a business objective, a business function, meant to achieve and is defined by your business model. Thank you very much. I would love to hear from you. Do share this video with people that you believe would benefit from it, who are struggling with their business, in a sense that it's overwhelming to them. The whole idea is overwhelming. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.